Now, a lot of people say that this dude changed their life. For me, I can't say that, but I will say he did give me a pretty dope soundtrack. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad of Granddad, Wooly, and you are here again for another edition of CD Case Studies. Today, we're going into the book and talking about one of my favorite producers of all time who is unfortunately no longer with us. This dude set it off for me when I came back from my hiatus, and we just gonna be talking about some of my favorite projects from him because the dude is that dope, even from beyond the grave. We talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the one himself, J Dilla. So we're gonna go open the book right here and talk about my one and only physically owned project from J Dilla, and I'll explain myself why, y'all. I tried, so there's some stories behind it. I'll explain myself, goddamn. Don't get mad and shit, because y'all be getting mad and shit. But we're gonna talk about the first Dilla project that I ever owned. It is the one that pretty much everybody talks about, the one that really just cemented Dilla as like one of the most legendary producers of all goddamn time. And it's the one that, it was his last one that he did before he had went up top. And we're talking about one and only Donuts. Now, Donuts dropped in 2006, and it dropped actually 3 days before Dilla's death on his birthday, February 7th. Now, this is one of the greatest instrumental albums of the mid-2000s, probably of the 2000s, probably of all goddamn time, because this album contains so many beats on here that are impactful and have been used on other artists' projects. Like, it's beats on here that have been used on Ghostface projects, Kweli projects, Doom projects, Stone's Throw projects themselves. Stone's Throw dropped this shit, and it's just the album that stands the test of time. It's probably Dilla's greatest work and just one of the greatest instrumental albums ever created, probably ever, when it comes to a hip-hop sense. Now, this album to me, y'all got a little story behind it. Yo, real talk, I literally legit lost my copy of Donuts. This exact copy of Donuts for like years, yo. Like, I thought I lost it. I was pissed. I was like, why can't I find my copy of Donuts? And I didn't want to go out and buy a new one because it's something that when you get your first copy of a certain album and you just play that shit and it's just you have a bond with the shit, you don't want to go and buy a new one. Like, I mean, they don't have that same feel and same essence that the one that you had. So I didn't go and buy another one. Luckily, I had it on my iTunes and shit, but I was pissed that I didn't have the disc anymore. And like, straight up, I lost it for like 2.5, like 3 years. And I found this shit at my sister's house in a CD spindle when I was looking for something completely else. It was out of my mind. I thought the CD was gone. And I'm flipping through this shit and I'm like, is that my fucking Donut CD? And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit doing here? And she was like, I thought you knew I had it. Like, you left it here when you moved. Apparently, when I moved out of my sister's house, I used to live with my sister, I left the CD there on accident and she just kept it in a spool. And they forgot about the shit. And I forgot about the shit. But don't matter, reunited. Feels so goddamn good. So now I made sure this shit is up in here in the case, safe and sound. And this is just one of my favorite Dilla projects of all goddamn time. I mean, most people, if not everybody's favorite goddamn Dilla project, but it's beats on here like Last Donut of the Night, which I rapped over with my song Last Donut. It's pretty damn dope. But it was also beats like Waves and Anti-American Graffiti and Stepson of the Clapper and Working on It. All these crazy fucking beats on here. Like, yo, it's like some legendary joints on here. And it had a little bit of a Mad Lib influence because the beats were hella crazy short. They had this real quirky sampling technique to it, but Dilla made his own. So like, you can tell that Dilla was influenced by Mad Lib a little bit when he was doing this album, but at the same time, he was still pushing the envelope, and just his sampling skills are like bare none the best. Like, I don't know how he makes his chops and does his things, but like, nobody made a chop or nobody could chop up a sample better than Dilla, goddamn it. Close second, I'd have to say, is Mad Lib, but Dilla just had he was his own world in his own fucking lane when it came to chopping up samples and just taking little parts of a song and then just making them something completely new and completely fresh. And Dilla was just like one of those talented dudes that you just wish was still here. Gone too soon, only 32, goddamn, like that's like a few years away from me. I can't go at 32, y'all. I got shit to do. Like, I need to be at least a 68, 75, 83, 92, 107, something like that. I need something like that. I need to hit Granddad status for real before I check out. Real talk. But yo, if you haven't heard of Donuts, which I don't know why you haven't, if you're a hip-hop head, you should have heard this album. At least some beat from somewhere off this goddamn album. You've heard this shit. But this is just a composite of just Dilla's greatest work at the time before he passed. And I'm just telling you right now, like, yo, this shit, you play this shit still, no matter even if you heard the beats, they're just so goddamn dope. So make sure you check out Donuts if you haven't. And go get you some donuts. Krispy Kreme, Dunkin' if you want. I mean, sometimes Dunkin', they be having them shits out there all goddamn day. I mean, if you want to go cheap, don't hit the store up and just hit the store brand. I don't do what you gotta do. Just get a goddamn donut and enjoy this motherfucking album. The next album I'm gonna talk about, y'all, is the album that Dilla dropped after the fucking donuts thing happened and he passed away. He dropped an album called The Shining, and it was like his I can't say that fucking word, posthumous or posthumous or fucking, you know what I'm trying to say. The album when you drop it album when you're dead. But point is this, he dropped a crazy fucking album called The Shining, and it had vocals on there, had different artists on there, and it had some of his dopest beats on there too. But the problem is when The Shining dropped, it dropped in like August, I couldn't find that shit. It was some Reflection Eternal revolutions per minute shit. I could not find that fucking album anywhere out here. And I was so fucking pissed off, and it took me a while to just fucking like, I couldn't find it. I said, fuck it, I got the digital shit, and then by the time like I got the digital shit, it was just like RPM. I was like, fuck it, I already got it, heard it. But it's a dope goddamn album. It's a lot of crazy tracks on that shit too. You had tracks like Geek Down and Love and E equals MC Squared and So Far to Go. It was just like a dope fucking album. He had D'Angelo up on there. He had Busta up on there. Common was on that motherfucker, of course, because they was like homies. They was like roommates and shit, so they had to be up on there. Pharoah Monch was up on there. Black Thought was on there. It was a dope album, like 12 songs on, but it was just a nice collection of Dilla's work that he was working on that he just could not finish, so they had the other people come in and finish. Also like Madlib and MED on there. So pretty much all of his friends and close affiliates came in and just helped with this album, and it was a really good fucking album that I really wish I could have fucking found. I was pissed off that I couldn't find it. On that revolutions per minute shit, like y'all need, like, I mean, sometimes you can't find it, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. The label that dropped it, I think, was based out of like London or some shit, so they didn't have like full-blown distribution in the States, so it was just hard to find that shit unless you like ordered it overseas. And at that time, it was 2006, like I was broke, nigga. I had no fucking money. I was fresh out of high school. I had no job. Shit, what am I gonna do buying a goddamn overseas album, paying all that goddamn money for shipping? I ain't got that shit. But if you haven't heard The Shining either, that is a crazy album. Also, his debut album, Welcome to Detroit, check that shit out. And all of his other posthumous albums, like Jay Stay Paid, Jay Love Japan, what else? The Diary that just came out. I reviewed that shit. So he's got a lot of fucking work that he dropped. He dropped more work when he died than when he was alive. I don't get how that works out, but Dilla does what Dilla does, even when he ain't even here to do what he does. But that's gonna do it for today's CD case studies, y'all. Hope you enjoyed me talking about some of my favorite J Dilla projects and just J Dilla himself. He is a legendary producer, dope rapper too. He has some bars too, and he was just gone too goddamn soon. And it sucks that after he died, people really appreciated his greatness. But luckily, I came into Dilla like a few years before he had passed, so I already knew how great Dilla was. I even had plans in my house like, yo, I'm gonna do a track with J Dilla. We're gonna go in the studio together. And then when he died, them dreams were crashed. I was like, never's gonna happen. But I have done a few Dilla homage tracks here and there. Like I said, Last Donut of the Night. Check out Fourth Quarter. I've probably done some other shit too. I've rapped over a lot of Dilla beats in my day, but you know, out of pure respect. You know, you gotta respect it. But yo, like I said, if he was still alive, definitely he would have been on the bucket list of who to work with. Previous videos on the side, some fucking where you know how I do, as well as my single. Check that out, show us some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram, links in the description below, and subscribe. Button on the screen, button below, CD case studies twice a week, as well as Willie reviews. Check that shit out, and the gaming channel. And if you are indie anything and you want your shit spotlighted, info is below, and I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, Granddad, J Dilla, the CD case study. I mean, like, Dilla's a legend. I mean, he got beats still. He still got fucking beats, and like, we ain't never gonna have another one like him. Don't even try. Don't even try. I'm out of here.